Now this is an important aspect I want to talk about before I bring it to greatness. It's the circle of life. You know, when we talk about balance, talk about the circle of life. What's the circle of life? It talks about everyday activity, how people can balance themselves, how they can handle things. And in this circle of life, if you have a problem with one, then everything goes down. If you have a problem with one, then everything goes down. If there is a problem with one, everything goes down. What's the first thing about this circle of life? It's self-image. Self-image. What is self-image? Self-image is like you discovering yourself. You have to discover who you are. In this self-image, you have to discover who you are. You know, most of us, we are young, but we don't really know who we are. You understand? So people are like, I'm this, but most times they don't know who we are. I had a lady come in here some few minutes ago and she was like, she has so many things to do, and at her age, she's a little bit advanced, 20s or so, you know, she hasn't really discovered her full potential. So the first thing is you have to know your self-image. We're talking about balancing academics, romance, and relationship. So the self-image, number one, is important. The number two thing there is your business, your career, and your studies. Now, if you look at this circle, the self-image has about 12%. It's a little bit big. Now, the same thing applies to business, your career, and your studies. Now, if you discover yourself, your business, your career, and your studies also is very important. What do I mean by this? Now, you discover yourself, you discover if you want to go to school or you want to be a business person. Now, this is really important because most people don't know. They just when they are done with school, they are like, okay, this is what's going to happen, this is what's going to happen. The next thing is your finance. Because if you decide to go to school or you want to go into business, finance is important. And without finance, there is frustration in life. And then we talk about health or fitness. Now they say health is wealth, which is very important. Without health, then you have a serious issue. Because if you're not fit, there's no way you can make money. If you're not fit, there is no way you can become a good business tycoon or you can do very well in your career or studies. And then the next thing we'll talk about is your social life or social friends. You see, this is very important because most people don't have social life. What is social life? Talk about the things you do for fun. Like, for example, what do you do for fun? Let me ask you. What do you do for fun? Social life.
Actually, I play football.
You play? Is football? Football is like a hobby. It's more of a hobby than a social activity. To me, it's more like a hobby.
Yeah, but it connects us together.
Well, you can put it together. Okay. Anyways, but you know, some people are like, what do you do when you are not doing anything? For example, we have people who prefer everyday partying, like clubbing, than there are some people who prefer going around, like going to places to travel around the world. People prefer that. Also, we have those that come in family. Now, how is family important? You know, the lady that came, she said something. She said she has a daughter. You understand? And so I said, you have to create this balance because it's very important. Your daughter, and you're studying now. And she's like, she doesn't have time for weekends. She doesn't have time just to help her daughter. And I said, you need this circle because without this circle, you have serious issues. So you need to create time for family. Now, in this family circle, romance doesn't come in. We should learn to differentiate between romance and family because when you talk about romance, the only time romance comes into family is when you're officially married. Romance and love is excluded from family except you're officially married and you have now a new family. It is seen that people, when you get married, now you have a new family. But if you are still single, like many of us, then you have to still divide it. And then also we talk about recreation or fun. Recreation activities. It can also be said to be the same as social life. Some people like dancing, singing, partying, clubbing. You know, so it can be seen to be the same. And then contribution. What do you contribute to your everyday life? You know, I ask myself one question, what do I contribute to society? People should know what you stand for. People should know what you represent. If you cannot tell people what you represent, then you have a serious problem. And then the next thing is personal growth. Personal growth. How is personal growth important? You know, I've come to discover that most times when you have grown so much that when you go for activities or when you plan a program, most times like this, you discover that some things you plan, you have to get ready for hiccups. What are hiccups? Hiccups like, you plan this one, maybe you need a photographer, in the morning he tells you he's not available. So it's part of personal growth. Spiritual growth is how you grow spiritually. And then self-image. Self-image, which is the last and still the first thing we talked about. When you discover and you know how this circle works, then you know that everything is back at a standstill. So in this circle, we're talking about balancing academics and relationship. Now, if this circle cannot be complete, we are starting from the bottom. If this circle is not complete, if you cannot differentiate these things, that's why I was telling you, you said you want to do so many things. I said you need to draw your plan. If you don't get a plan on how you do everything, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. So when you don't plan things like this, when you don't plan this circle, then you have serious issues. Now, I want to talk about the things to take note of to increase your bond and still do excellently well. Now, number one, we say never compromise one for another. It means at the appropriate time, stand your ground. You shouldn't, you know, many people learn they compromise so many things. What do I mean by compromise? You going back to the circle, you add this together. You add these two together, or you add this together. You compromise. You're like, oh, I want to read and I want to see my boyfriend. And then you believe that seeing your boyfriend is more important.